Isn't it? Here, that one. Yeah.
Are we sure they're both Australian?
Yeah, but,
Oh, they are.
yeah.
How do you know? Of course. Yeah, I thought I heard it.
It's quite extraordinary to hear the argument here that from the judge that she does not feel actually to have the authority to allow Julian to sit with his lawyers in the courtroom. And she actually asked the prosecution what they thought about it, and they said, well, we are neutral on this. And actually, in other cases, it has been known that defendants have been sitting with their lawyers. But still, the judge seemed to be reluctant to allow this to happen for security concerns. And of course, Julian's lawyers pointed out, we're not talking about a violent individual here, we're talking about an intellectual, a peaceful man. Of course he should be sitting with his lawyers, not behind bulletproof glass, with hard of hearing and unable to communicate with his lawyer. Julian is not receiving a fair hearing. To start with, he can hardly and barely hear what's going on in the courtroom. He cannot communicate with his lawyers without being observed and overheard by officials from the State Department, from the embassy, and from the Eastern District Court of Virginia. So how can he actually have a fair opportunity? And he, as he said, when he was communicating, attempted to communicate with the judge, there's been enough spying on the communication between me and my lawyers. So this is unfair all the way through. They dismissed all relevances to the UN treaties, Interpol treaties, and actually the European Convention of Human Rights. They were basically dismissing any arguments of rights from the international communities or under international law that didn't apply to this court.
The hearing that we have seen today, Julian is in a glass box, cannot communicate with his lawyers. The other side, the prosecutor, has sitting behind him 3 lawyers from the United States Justice Department who can easily and do constantly communicate with the prosecutor from the Crown Prosecuting Service. That's one. The other one, after these 3 days, this has an appearance to me of a fraud upon the courts. The the prosecutor advances nothing of substance and just attempts to reduce Julian's magnificent efforts to a banal criminality.